I inherited my grandfather's house, but the tapes I found inside predicted my every move. Each word pulled me closer to the basement, where a voice I knew too well was already waiting for me. I never thought inheriting a house could feel like inheriting a curse, but from the moment I stepped onto the creaking porch of my grandfather's property, I knew the place was not simply for walls and a roof left to me out of sentiment or convenience. It was something else, something deliberate. Something that breathed its own slow, suffocating rhythm. I had not seen my grandfather in his final years. He was a quiet man, withdrawn after my grandmother died, and the family stopped visiting. As much so when the lawyer told me the old house on the outskirts of town was mine, I imagined it as nothing more than a dusty relic, maybe even a blessing. I was 23, restless, tired of cheap apartments. And the thought of owning even a decaying two-story with ivy strangling the brick seemed like fortune. The drive out there was long, the roads narrowing until street lamps disappeared, and the silence of the countryside pressed in. The house rose at the end of a gravel lane, hunched and brooding, its windows black like empty eyes. As I unlocked the swollen front door, the hinges screamed, and the first breath I drew inside was thick with dust and something metallic that coated the back of my tongue. The furniture had not been touched in decades, heavy oak pieces crowding the room's curtains, faded to yellow bookshelves groaning with forgotten titles. But in the study where my grandfather had spent most of his days, I found a cardboard box shoved under the desk, as though he had wanted it hidden but not too well. The masking tape had long since dried. I pulled it apart, and inside were neat stacks of audio cassettes, each labeled in my grandfather's sharp handwriting. The first one, "Read for you." Curiosity itched through me, and I dug until I found an old cassette player wedged in a closet, its plastic yellow, the play button stiff with age. I set the first tape inside, pressed it down, and static filled the room before a voice cut through, a voice that made my stomach tighten. My grandfather's voice, younger, steadier than I had ever known him to be. "Hello," he said. "If you're hearing this, then the house is yours. I know that because it had to be, and right now you're sitting in the study with the box on your lap. You've already opened it, and you're listening carefully, wondering how I know." My mouth went dry. I glanced around the room at the shadows creeping along the corners as though expecting someone to be watching me. The voice continued, "You just lean back. Your right hand is hovering near the pause button. Don't press it. You'll want to